So this session is a taste of templates, a sample your students will love. So there is a T-test alignment, of course, with everything our department does. We try to always connect it and make it relevant to our teachers. So when you're using Canva, you are engaging and using these flexible lessons that are encouraging higher order thinking, persistence, and achievement, right? If you've ever sat back and watched a student in Canva, there is that persistence, right? They do get frustrated sometimes when they're trying to find the right graphic or trying to find the right feature or align it just right. So they do have to use those higher order thinking skills. A lot of the times, teachers will use these templates and push the students even further than if they were to just give it on paper. We also have our ISTE standards in our technology TEKS. And so third through fifth, they are aligned to perform software application functions such as inserting or deleting text, inserting pages, and formatting page layouts and margins. And that aligns itself all the way down. So basically being able to use our online softwares to perform things that basically on online documents, deleting, inserting, formatting, numbering, bulleting, things like that. Alrighty, our objectives for today. I am so passionate about using Canva. It is one of my favorite things. I know we're not supposed to have favorites, right? But don't tell anybody. It's my favorite. So this objective slide was full, and my coordinator was like, "Casey, tone it down. You're you're only doing an hour presentation, not two." So I try to take it back a little bit. So we're going to navigate some of the Canva templates, and we want to explore the infographics and comic strips. However, I was told if we finish early, then we can look at some more. So we will discuss some examples of the classroom implementation, and I want you to get creation time because it's no fun listening to me and watching me create if you don't get time to create. All right, so I want to get a little read of the room. How do you feel with using Canva right now on a scale from 1 to 5? So, one being I've never used Canva at all, or I'm so lost when I use Canva, all the way to a 5. Like, I'm literally a Canva expert and could probably lead this session better than you. Where are we at? Oh, okay. Ooh, we got a wide range. Threes, fours. It's got some twos. I got a 1. Totally fine. My friend that's a 1, I'm going to blow your mind with these templates, and I bet you before you leave, you're going to be at least a 3. I promise. I've used it for me before, but not with kids. Awesome. Uh, I think it's Anastasia, who's a 4.5. Maybe you should come off mute and lead this session with me. All right. So that's a good read of the room. Okay, so what is Canva? So I'm gonna play this super quick video from Canva for our 1s and our 2s.
Is there supposed to be audio?
Yes, there is. I saw that in the chat. Thank you for that. Let me go here. Stop share, share, computer sound. Okay, now we should be back grooving.
Welcome to Canva. Here's how to create and share inspiring designs. On the left, you'll find everything you can add to your design. Choose from thousands of templates or start from scratch. To begin, just drag and drop a template to your page. The Elements tab has graphics, photos, videos, charts, and more. Upload photos or videos like this. Everything is customizable. Select the object you want to change, and a toolbar will appear above. Let's start with color. Select any element, then click the color tile. Choose any color you like, or pick a color from the design. Double-click to edit text. Then use the toolbar to change size, alignment, or spacing. Find the perfect font here. Let's add some animation magic. Click the page, open the Animate tab, and select your style. On the right, you can download, share to social media, and order professional prints. Sign up to save your design, collaborate with teammates, and so much more. Now it's your turn.
Alrighty. So that was just a quick Canva overview for what it has to offer. If you were in my poster session, that was kind of like my why to choose Canva overview. As you can
Welcome
see,
to
it is quite amazing. So one of our templates that we want to get a little taste of, a little sample today, is infographics. So an infographic is a collection of imagery, data visualizations like pie charts, bar graphs. You know, it's got minimal text and it gives an easy to understand overview of a topic. Okay. The infographics use striking, engaging visuals to communicate information quickly and clearly. Okay. So the first thing I want to do, this is not a video like we just watched. This is a video showing you first how to navigate to find the infographic template. It's just a screen recording. So I just want you to watch how I navigate to it when I get into the Canva app. So I went over to the left to templates. I go to education and you scroll down and you'll see education infographics. And from there, you can see tons. I don't know if you caught it, but right up here at the top, there's over 1,700 templates. So the rest of the video is literally me scrolling through the amazing templates for any occasion you could possibly think of. As I stated this morning, I'm somebody who would like to think I'm quite creative, but I do find it hard, and sometimes I feel like I have a block when I'm staring at a white piece of paper. I have these great ideas, but I find it hard to get started from complete scratch. So sometimes I like to just come through these templates and look and get inspiration from multiple templates, maybe from one template, or maybe I choose a template to modify and I just pick certain elements that I like from it. I find that a lot of our students are very similar. They will go, I don't know where to start, right? A lot like writing. I don't know where to begin. I think that can be very overwhelming for students and adults. I wouldn't know how to begin an infographic. Well, lucky for you, you don't need to know how to begin. They thought about it for you. So even if it's just to get an idea to get it going. Okay, so next I wanted to show, I said we were going to go over some examples on how you could use it in the class. Well, here were some of my ideas. I will not take credit for making these. These are from Canva. I looked through and I wanted to pull examples for different content areas. So here is a fraction example. So in my mind, when I'm thinking to teaching and I'm thinking about how we took notes. All right, guys, take out your math journals. Today we're going to learn about fractions. Okay. And no, we did not cover all the types of fractions in one day, right? Maybe not all in 1 week, but maybe we covered proper fractions 1 week. Well, instead of taking notes in a traditional sense, maybe they were instructed to create part of the infographic that day. Okay, you give them a broad overview. Like in general, guys, you're going to be able to create an infographic that's going to be your notes on fractions, but we're just going to complete one part of the infographic. And so there'll be 3 total parts. Today we're doing 1 part. So they know in general, okay, well, my infographic's going to have 3 sections. I'm just going to do 1 section. So they could have completed proper fractions, right? The next week, because this will save for them. The next week, they come back and they revisit, and you say, all right, guys, today we're going to take notes on improper fractions. And they take their notes for improper fractions. Okay. And then within this, if they use this template, they can add a page and they can actually do a whole nother infographic on just proper fractions and make examples and add elements for a whole one just on proper fractions. So you could think of this as their cover sheet. And so I just imagine students having their own little like portfolios, little booklets of these concepts in math, in reading, right? We're thinking about vocabulary terms, point of view, inferencing, things like that, right? Here's an example in science. Okay, how fun would that be for a student to create an infographic on photosynthesis? If I'm a student, I'm going to remember photosynthesis a lot more if I were to create something like this rather than copying notes from my teacher's journal or from the smartboard, right? Um, when I was creating this not this PowerPoint, this slide deck, I try to think, what might a teacher say, like a little pushback, right? And that's what we think about in this profession. What might a teacher, because let's be realistic, right? Not everything is as easy as it sounds. And I thought, well, maybe a teacher might say, well, that's pretty time consuming. It can be, for sure. For sure it can be. But I also thought, how time consuming could it be if a student does not understand, right, or synthesize what they're writing down in their journal because they're just writing it down to write it down, right? They're writing down definitions. They don't understand what they're writing. And then how much time is wasted throughout the year, throughout the unit, in which you're explaining and going over the same concept because they can't grasp it, right? So that might be my response. That might be how I justify spending that extra 30 minutes for them to understand what is photosynthesis. Because yes, this looks pretty in depth, but once y'all get into Canva, you'll realize, oh, this is pretty easy to pull together with all the elements. Here's a social studies example with the American Civil War. Here's a writing example, so with our parts of speech, right? Yes, Yvonne. She said, plus, once you make it, you can use it next year if you're still in the same grade level. Yes. Or you could, everything is, aligned. You could scale it down, scale it up, right? A lot of the times with reading, they are the same across the board, except maybe just the verbiage is changed a little bit. All right, so here's your task. So I talked a lot. Now I want you to get a little bit of time. So your task is going to be one, you're going to get into Canva. You're going to navigate to the infographic templates. I want you to browse through them and I want you to get 2 to 3 ideas of what you might have your students create using an infographic. That's the only thing I want you to do right now. So if you're an SAISD employee, you're going to go to Canva through ClassLink. If you're not an SAISD employee and your district doesn't have Canva, then you can just go to canva.com and you can create an account for free. Okay, I'm going to give y'all about 3 minutes to do these next 3 tasks. And if there's any questions during that time, feel free to unmute or put it in the chat. And then when we come after the 3 minutes, we will either come off mute or put in the chat some of the ideas that y'all came up with, similar to like what I just shared on the previous slide. I'm going to pull up a timer really quick to put that on the screen. Sonia, yes. So there's a time and place for paper and technology, right? I'm not saying go all tech and I'm not saying go all paper. We see where our world is heading, right? There's a lot of technology. I think there is a time and place for physical notes, but I also think there's a time and place to allow our students creation time. I know personally, I'm thinking back, in the classroom, I say, all right, guys, take out your journals. We're going to take notes. And you get the, right? If I say, all right, guys, open up your computers. We're going to get in Canva and we're going to create something for our notes today. I'm not going to get the, I'm going to get the, oh my gosh, yeah, Canva. And unfortunately, I didn't get that opportunity because I didn't know about Canva when I was a teacher. But I have got to see that with teachers that I've worked with this year. And it just makes my teacher heart so happy to see these students so engaged, right? And they're not getting distracted, they are learning. And I can hear them speak to their learning more than if I were to walk up to a student in my class, go up to their notes and say, what are you learning about today? And they're going to go, I don't know, fractions. So I agree. Yes, I love what y'all are saying in the chat. Yes, keeping students organized, 100%. Okay, so yes, that's 3 minutes. So I love that y'all are already putting your ideas. If everybody can just drop one idea in the chat for what you might have your students create an infographic for. Okay, so let's look. So let me share my screen again so y'all can see my presentation. Okay, so we got, I also want to point out my colleague Annalisa, she said, it should be used in moderation. Both can be appropriate. Yes, it depends what you're trying to accomplish. Yes, that's oftentimes what we reflect on is what is the outcome that is intended. That often depends on what medium you're using. Elements of historical fiction and how to make passive income. Love it. Engineering, design process, simple machines, robotics, workflow for competitions, literary genres, parts of an essay, figurative language, CER. Oh my gosh. Yes. Can you say it louder for the people in the back? Yes, CER. Steps in a life cycle, science. Steps to work out a math problem. I love that. Making a list. Yes, right? Maybe like a how to. Hero's journey, digital citizenship. Comparing two opposing views in history. Federalist versus anti Federalist. MLK versus Black Panthers. Isolationist versus interventionist. I love it. Career research. Love it. Okay. As you can see, the possibilities are actually endless. That is why I get so passionate about talking to teachers. Like, I actually have goosebumps right now. I get so passionate when talking to teachers about Canva. CER. So, CER is a type of response, open ended response. It's a constructive ended response. All right. Yes. Reading comprehension strategies for SPED students. Love it. All right. So we shared. Oh, I was supposed to play my little. Let's share because y'all are so bright. Love it. Okay. Now it's your turn to create. All right. So your task is to design an infographic that you would assign to your students or something from the choice board. Be creative and most importantly, have fun. We will all come back together in Teams meeting and share out. So I am going to be flexible. I do not want you to create something just to create it because I said so. I want you to create it because it has meaning to you. If you have something in mind, if you would like to create something that you mentioned in the chat, go for it. If you are like me, and when the teacher said create something and go forth, and you know, I was like, well, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. It was hard for me to get going. If you're like me, then I put some ideas here. You can design an infographic on the planets in our solar system, on the states of matter, possibly the elements of drama. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give us 10 minutes. I'll put some music on the background. I'm going to give us 10 minutes. So that'll bring us to 10:50. And then that will give us 20 minutes to go over the next template. Okay, so let's do 10:50. I will be here monitoring the chat. If anybody would like me to share my screen going into Canva and showing how to use the different elements, I would be more than happy to do that. I just assumed that y'all would be on your own doing your screen, but if you would like, I can go on there and model. Yes, please share. You got it. So I will not do the music because I will talk quietly in my soothing, calm voice. But I will set my timer. Spicer, can you set a 10-minute timer on your phone for me, please, so I can keep my chat on? Okay.
Will do.
Thank you. Alrighty. So let's go to, let's see, let's get all these crazy windows. All right. Log in. So like I said, if you are a district employee, you have access to your single sign-on. If not, then, oh, nope. Then you can go to canva.com and create one for free. Okay. So I will go to templates, education, and education infographics. And the possibilities are endless. Now this could be the tricky part. Let's say I want to make a how-to. And maybe I want to do, so I know I'm going to make a how-to. When I'm looking at these templates, I'm not really looking at the words. I'm really looking at one that grabs my attention with the colors, the kind of like vibes with my vibe, right? And that's what you want to explain to your students because they're going to get hung up on looking at types of animals. Oh, well, I'm not trying to do types of animals. I'm trying to do, whatever you're assigning. So I like this type of template. So I'm going to do customize this template. And I'm going to do a how-to on how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I'm going to make this bigger because my eyes are not as great as they used to be. I'm going to put how to I'm going to put sandwich edition. Bless you. Sandwich edition. And I'm going to make this, let's start at 7. Okay. I can make it a little better. So this is my how-to infographic. And this is my sandwich edition. And everything on this template is customizable. Everything. Everything, Casey? Everything. If I look at this little corner piece, I can, boop, delete it, right? I can put it back. I can look at this. Let's see. Look at this bird, this parrot, right? Do you see when I clicked it, this changed up here? Watch, I'm going to unclick it, but watch up here. If I unclick it, that goes away. If I click it, it pops back up. If I click edit image, I can change the colors, but there's another way too. Let me see if I click. Some animals, okay, this one. Keep your eyes up here. If I click this tiger, see how these colors popped up? Certain graphics will let you change by color. So I can change all the black on this picture to purple because black a tiger with black stripes, boring, right? And maybe I want him to not be a regular tiger. Maybe I want him to be a lime green tiger, right? So you can get 100% customizable. Everything can be changed. This little snail guy, he can be changed, his color palette. Okay. So you saw how I did the font. I'm going to put how to, this is our sandwich edition. Um, how to make a peanut butter, and I knew that was 2 words. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I can make this bigger. You know, sometimes kids like to create just to create. Um, what I used to do when I introduce something new to students is don't introduce it to them in an educational way first, because you know what's going to happen. You're going to say, all right, guys, today we're going to do a science assignment on Cami. And you're going to say, open up this. You're going to get them into Canva, and they're going to start clicking away, playing around because it's amazing. And you've lost them, right? The way you want to do it is, guys, I learned this amazing tool to use in class for creation. And so what I want to do first is let's jump in and let's start exploring with it. And you show on the smart board, you exploring with it too. Okay. If you don't have a smart board, I said that just because I'm thinking SAISD, a lot of us have smart boards. Somehow you project where students can see you are exploring along with them. Let them click around. Have them make something for fun, like an all about me. At the beginning of the year, most of us give an all about me sheet to our kids and say, fill it out and we're going to share with the class, right? If you were to give them one of those, tell them to use that as their guide, fill out that sheet, but by making an infographic, right? That gives them a fun way to play around with all the tools. Don't tell them anything about the tools. Let them play first. Let them explore. I promise I promise you, you will thank me later. Okay? So I got this all situated. Now all I have to do is I'm going to put step one. Oh, step one, make sure you have the right thing selected. Step one. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to insert an image. So step one, I'm going to say, go to the kitchen, right? So when you go to design, this is more like your templates. I could go to my styles. I could change like my colors. Elements is where a lot of the juicy features lie. So I need to look for a kitchen. So I'm just going to type in kitchen. Now, I can look at graphics. I can look at photos. I can look at videos. I can pull audio. I don't know what would come up in audio, maybe a blender. Let's go with, I just want, ooh, I like this one. I'm gonna click it, it's gonna pop up. So maybe I don't want this one because I already put step one right there. Maybe I want this to be small and I'm gonna put it right there. But I want this to be big. And maybe it's only gonna be 4 steps. So actually, if you click and hold down shift while you're clicking, it will select everything you're clicking and keep it. So I'm holding down shift and just clicking away and deleting what I don't want so I can make room for bigger things. All right, so now I'm gonna click and drag. These down. I lost a fella. And I can give us some more space, right? You could give yourself a little bit more room to work. I can make this guy a little bigger. It takes some playing around with. But now I can move this right here. And then now I can move this over here. And I still want this guy right here. Maybe I want it to overlap right here.
The timer has just gone off.
Perfect, thank you. So I showed you how you can customize the elements that are already on a template, right? The text, the colors, how to insert some elements, how to resize things, how to delete, how to insert. When you go to elements, there's also, you can insert shapes. If you wanted to add your own little box at the back, things like that, frames, you could add that in, drag and drop a picture over it, and it will automatically sandwich itself in the frame. All right, would anybody like to share their screen and share their infographic? And if you want to, if you put in the chat, I want to, I will give you presenter rights. That's a lot of power. Nobody yet? Okay, well, we're gonna have one more thing to create, and then maybe I'll get it. Yay. Okay, we got one person. Okay, more actions.
Maybe we could share the links too, or people could drop the link. Would we be able to see it based on their link?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, whoever said that, I don't know who said that.
Cavasso, sorry.
You
It's
are
Bonnie.
ahead of the game. Thank you very much. Yes. So if you know how to share the links already, drop that link in there, and you can do that. Miss Perry, do you know how to do the link?
I do.
Okay, if you drop your link in, we can start there, and at the end, I'll show everybody how to do that, and then we'll go over. Okay, let's go over the other template type so I don't run out of time, and then we're gonna get all into the sharing because I'm excited. I get so excited, and then I just start diving deep. Okay, so the last template that we're gonna go over is comic strips. How cool is this? So Canva's comic strip templates allow your students to tell stories or show adventures with creative illustrations and beautiful customizable elements. Watch your students' stories come to life in Canva's comic strips. So I have the video showing you where to go again. I'll play it super quick. So same place to the left panel, templates, go down to education, and then to comic strips. And I'm going to pause it. Boom. So there is less templates in the comic strip portion than in the infographics, like by far, but that's okay because with comic strips, I mean, it is kind of hard to, you know, jazz up the templates. That's really going to be customizable to what's in them, right? And so you want that to be 100% the student work. So that is how you get to them. And here are some of the templates that are in there. So let's get a little, let me show my examples. Here's a science example with natural resources. Hey, did you know that fossil fuels like gasoline were once the norm? But now the overuse of non-renewable resources has led to their depletion and gasoline sometimes is unavailable. Luckily, sustainable options such as electric cars are gaining popularity. Making the switch to renewable resources like electricity can help preserve our planet's resource for generations to come. And there you have a science and ELAR lesson in one, right? Persuasive and science. So there you have, and these are all within the Canva elements. So these are graphics that were entered. Here is an ELAR example. So I grabbed this as an example from the internet, actually not Canva. That's why it's kind of blurry. I couldn't find a really good version. But if you think about students retelling, if you are going over a story, I picked Little Red Riding Hood just because everybody knows Little Red Riding Hood, and you told them to retell a story. Um, sometimes can they retell a story but change the ending? This would be a good example. They know this, so they could do a story retelling. Maybe they do a story retelling in somebody else's perspective and a different point of view, right? Here's a social studies example. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. Before that, we wouldn't be sitting here. And I wouldn't be trading you a carrot stick for a french fry. That's not even a trade, Franklin. I would have to agree. I would not be trading a carrot stick for a french fry. So, all right, let's take a vote. I value your time more than anything. And I'm so excited about creation time. We have already gone through this. So, do we want to waste 3 minutes browsing ideas, or do we jump right into the creation time? And I'll let you choose. If we choose creation time, you can continue your infographic, or you can begin a comic strip. And here were some of the ideas. Maybe the 3 branches of government, solving a word problem, or on financial institutions. So if you'll put in the chat your vote, would you like to go ahead and jump right into creating? Or did you want to hear some people's ideas first on how they would use this in their classroom? And I 100% do not mind. Ideas, creating. Ideas. Okay, ideas. All right. Perfect. All right. I'm going to put 3 minutes. Well, I'm going to give you 3 minutes. We're going to go into Canva, navigate to the comic strips, look at what they have to offer, and then we'll come back here. And actually, you don't even have to wait 3 minutes. Once you look through some of them and you get some ideas, go ahead and just start dropping them in the chat. And then actually, if you already start dropping some in the chat and you're ready to start creating, go for it. And I'll stay on this slide. So if you're already at that stage, then you can have some ideas ready. Because we have about 10 minutes left. I love it. This is probably one of my favorite sessions. Don't tell. I already see one idea, Cynthia, science lab rules. I love it. I can't even imagine. Okay, I lied. I can't imagine the creativity that a student could have with the comic strip, like making out this story. I always love to do rules in a form of breaking a rule in order to explain a rule. So I could see like somebody doing a lab with no goggles and then another student walking by and saying like, "Hey, you can't do an experiment without goggles. That's the number one rule, you know?" So good idea. And I can totally see kids, students getting 100% engaged and creative and creating that. And I guarantee you, you're not going to get any, I don't want to do that. Yes, Yvonne, getting to know morning routines, any routines, yes. The election process, officials, the preamble. Sonia, your mind is going to be blown. AI and Canva, I haven't even 100% gotten to explore the whole thing. We can dabble a little bit in that, and wow, it actually has this text to image thing where I can say there's a dog going down a slide and it will make an image of a dog going down a slide. And you can tell it's a created image because obviously there's like slight imperfections to it, like little glitches on the back. It's very awesome. IB learner profiles, yes. Okay, so that is our 3 minutes. So I have been monitoring the chat. Yes. Sometimes I think I learn more in these sessions than maybe y'all learn from me because I love hearing y'all's ideas. But then I go back to being so jealous that y'all have classrooms to go and implement these and I don't. Yes, creating templates for note taking, 100%. So going back to the AI, word is on the street that this even creates like lesson plans. I would never condone that, right? But I am 100% curious on how that even does that. Sandra, I would have never ever thought about that. She put how to find a book in the library. That is an awesome idea. What do you think outside of the box? So I want to give creation time. However, I'm dying to see some of y'all's actual creations. So I feel like once y'all had creation time once, y'all kind of got a little taste of it. And so really it's just a matter of going in and exploring and playing around with it. I find myself sometimes at home going through and just playing around. Actually, true story, I make my laptop backgrounds in Canva. So one time for Christmas, I made this sweater weather background in Canva. And so I put all these like sweaters in like these frames I was showing y'all. I dragged these pictures of sweaters. So it's the images of like sweater fabric, like the different patterns. And there's alphabetic frames. So I spelt out sweater, dragged in those fabrics of the sweaters. And anyway, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And so that was my background. So it is very fun. Is there a tutorial built in Canva? Meaning, can you get a little more specific? Okay, so I do want to show y'all really quick before I get into y'all's creation. In case you didn't know how to share a link, let's say this was my creation, my masterpiece. You're gonna go to share, and you could if I wanted to collaborate with, let's say, Annalisa, who I work with, I could type in, see if it will pull her up. She may be
You have 5
missing.
minutes, by the way.
Okay. If I pull up Carrie, she's someone I work with. If I click Carrie, she has edit access, or I can just make her comment, or only she can view it, right? I can also give a collaboration link. Anyone with the link. So this is what Annalisa was putting in the chat earlier, that if you put your link in the chat for us to see, you should make sure this is toggled on. So anybody with the link can see it, no matter what their credentials are. Totally different presentation, but this can all talk to like Google Classroom, Canva. Teachers can assign things. It's endless, guys. That's why I get so passionate about Canva. You would think that I work for them. I promise I don't. But I am loyal to SAISD. So with that being said, I want to show, let's look at some of the, she said, I'm not quite complete. I teach business management. Let's look. Okay, so this one says request access. So let me go back. Let's see if I can, and I will not leave this meeting until I go through the chat and answer all the questions. I do not have anything else to do after this. I do not have another meeting to go to. Let's see. Okay, I have access to, ooh, okay. So this is from Roberto Cantu. So he made one on simple machines. That is cool. And if you can see, he's live on it. So do y'all see how he is actually moving his piece right now? That is cool. And I can put it in full screen. That is awesome. Okay, let's jump out of here. Let's go back here. I want to go to Miss Perry's. She had volunteered before anybody got voluntold. I'm just kidding. Yes. So this would be great as a template. Were you making this as a template, like for your students?
I was, and I'm an IS with the social studies department. So
I love
kind
it.
of trying to create things that multiple people can use.
That's perfect for you to push out to the teachers that you support for them to use. Writing, oh my gosh, a writing checklist. You have my heart. I love it. I used to do a checklist with my students, a self-created rubric. And so as we learn the rules, they would create their ongoing rubric. And so it wasn't like, I've never heard of this. You know, how can you hold me accountable for never learning this? No, you made your own rubric as we learned it together. So I love that. Let's see if we can look at one more and then we'll have to call it. Okay, I don't think there's any before that. I think we just looked at Miss Yvonne's, Miss Perry's, Sandra. Let's see. Digital safety tips for teens. Love it. Love it. Okay, now you've piqued my interest and you're making a liar out of me. I said that we would look at one more, but now she said she teaches middle school choir and I'm so curious as to, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. This is cool. How fun for your students. How fun. Okay, I really am going to have to stop now, but I am going to go and look at all the chat because I'm all excited. I hope that y'all enjoyed today's session as much as I did. I love, love, love Canva. If you are a district employee, please reach out to your EdTech support. If you don't know who they are, you can email me. Let me put my email in the chat, and I will ensure that you get connected with them. I will give them some work to do. I am going to put a link right now into the chat for my presentation for you, so you can have that. I'm also going to put in any way to include the transcript of the meeting and the presentation link to have all the links shared.
Do
Okay.
you want me to upload the sign-in for you?
Yes, if you could do the sign in. I'm not ignoring you, Robert. I'm gonna think. I may have to go right next door to ask. I just uploaded my presentation for you, and then Miss Annalisa is putting the sign in. Please, please, please sign in so I can ensure that you get credit, no matter if you're in a district or not. You are getting credit for, oh my gosh, Sonia, that's gonna make my entire year. Please make sure you sign in so you can get credit. Okay. Again, I just hope that I could rub my Canva enthusiasm onto you. I really do love it.